Welcome back to the survival world. Since last time I've been quite busy. I've been hanging around here at the sniffer sanctuary and gathering up a bunch of the seeds that the sniffers have been dropping. I don't believe, oh there is one. I've also been breeding up some of the sniffers while I've been at that and leaving the eggs in there to try and get some more. And I've also filled out the farms out here. I've got a bunch more of these ancient plants now, which is going to be very useful for decorating future builds. But today is very exciting because I'm finally going to be installing the automatic storage system in our base here. This base has kind of been sitting here for a while, but we're finally going to add the next part to it. In these sections here, there's going to be all chests, and we're going to have a complex redstone machine behind it. And I've also been extra busy because I've done a bit of mining off camera to get all this stuff. It turns out redstone is pretty hard to get, but from that mining session I got quite a satisfying time lapse of mining all the ores down. But yes, this chest here and this chest here are all the items I will need to make this storage system work. I'll go ahead and place these in first because that's the most important part. I'm quite excited to get this in because, as you've seen in maybe some of the previous videos, my current storage is quite a mess right now. And I believe with the amount of chests I have here, this should store up to, I think, 700,000 items. So it should last me pretty much the entire length of this world. I'm using chests as a platform here. There we go. That is what the walls will look like. Now, there you can kind of see through the chests, but when the actual machinery is in, you'll just be able to see all the redstone components behind there, which I quite like. It's almost like I've come in here and retrofitted this old cathedral with a modern, like, electronic system. Let's go ahead and get the rest of the chests installed in the remaining 3 sections here. While I'm placing those in, let's have a chat about the lore, shall we? I love the idea of having a story or a narrative for a Minecraft build or a Minecraft base. I think it can really inject a lot more life and creativity into a build when you're thinking about it in terms of how it fits into the narrative you want to tell. This whole base follows a theme that I am really fond of, which is like old ancient ruins. You can see that in like Zelda, that have been like retrofitted and modernized. So you can see that the main structure of the build is made out of stone blocks. Those are the materials that the ancient builders used in my lore. The wooden parts here are the materials that I have used to install new stuff into these old builds. So of course, because I've installed this storage system, it's all made out of wood. These big panels have been put up on the walls here. As for this central room itself with the mosaic floor, obviously its original use was not a storage system. I think it was more a ceremonial room. Ceremonies were performed there. If you have any ideas on how I can add to this lore, feel free to put it in the comments. I would love to hear your ideas on how I can expand on this story and these characters. Alright, there we go. All 4 sections are in here. Before I get to installing the actual redstone systems here, there's just 2 more chests I need to add, and that is the input chest, which is going to be right here, and the output chest for any items that don't get sorted right here. So how this works is I will input any items I want to sort into this chest right here. They will go through the system, they will go down each column and see if they can be placed into that chest. If not, there will be a water stream under this section here that will take it into the second section. Then the process repeats. It checks every single chest to see if there is a slot in there for it, and if on the very unlikely event that there is not a slot for the item in any of these, it will end up in this chest right here. Right, let's get the redstone system installed. I'm very excited to do this. It's done now. Let's go in for the grand reveal. Oh, it looks completely the same. Well, yeah, that's because all the redstone is behind the chests here. Let's see if we can maybe get a different angle here. This is what the redstone looks like. So each one of these has one of these machines behind it. I'll be honest, I don't completely know how they work. It's not my design, but I have modified it for my base here. And then what we have going in between here is some water streams with ice blocks on the bottom. And basically they just spit out the items from this dropper here. They go along the water streams and then they collect in the hopper there. So all of the different groups of chests here can connect with each other. So in theory, if I put a stack of stone in there, we should start to see stone filtering into this chest here. There we go. So the idea is that you fill the chests up with your items completely. So now if I fill this with stone and I put cobblestone in, it will go into the second chest. There we go. See, I've got a bunch of stone in my pockets here because I want to try and label some of these chests and kind of work out how much stuff I'm going to need. I'm going to use item frames like that to label them. I think I'll probably just need one chest for stone right now. I'll have one chest for cobblestone as well. Where do I put the stairs and the slabs? Should I put the stairs and the slabs in the same chest? Or should I have a separate chest for stairs, slabs, walls, etc.? I don't want the rest of this video to be me sorting out all the items, but I want to give you an idea of how I want to sort this. I want it to be very intuitive as to what is where. I think it will probably be useful to have a stone cutter in here, to be honest, so that looks natural. Okay, what I can do is I can fill up the top half of this chest with stone stairs, and then the bottom half with slabs. So then all those items are accounted for in the system. And if I put them in here, they will eventually filter into that chest. I guess for these kind of things that have 3, we can have a layout like this. And I do like this particular design for this because you can have your items neatly laid out in whatever way you want. Diorite, diorite, granite, granite. So these sticks will basically prevent anything from going in there, so it'll skip that chest and then go to the next one. So that is a good start, I think. This is something that I can chip away at in between videos, and I gotta say, it is kind of mesmerizing to watch all the lights flash, isn't it? And it's probably going to take me a while because they're going to load in. These are all my chests, just my random stuff, not sorted in any way, so it will take me a while, but it will be so satisfying once I've got it all in there. I've been working over here quite a bit. How many melons is there? Wow, that is a lot of melons. For reference, that was this many melons. Each one gets me about 12 emeralds because I haven't cured these guys yet. I need to get around to doing that. If I had more farmers, I'd be able to get more emeralds quicker. For the rest of this video though, I've kind of had enough of redstone for the time being. I would love to do some building. In the last video I mentioned how I wanted to build a couple of smaller floating islands here to kind of bridge some of the gaps between some of the different islands. And so first up, let's do this little string of islands here that I laid out in the previous video. I think the easiest way to do this will be to place a little platform down here. The idea for this string of islands in particular was to transition from the grass on the left here to the more nether terrain on the right to have a sort of smooth gradient going across. And they're deliberately supposed to be very small little islands just to add to that broken apart effect that you see a lot in floating island media. And also because they don't really need to be big, I just want them to be platforms for me to parkour across. That's the first one done, very nice. Now I'm trying to figure out at what point I should transition into the nether stuff, and I think this next island is probably where I should start doing it. So at first it should just be very slightly nethery, and then it should get more nethery as we go on. At this point I need to start transitioning more to the nether and then less of the grass, but I'm still going to keep some of the grass around. Now it's pretty much all nether blocks, maybe a couple of non-nether blocks, but largely just the netherrack, crimson nylium, and a little bit of soul sand. Then this final one is all nether blocks. Now this string of islands is pretty much done. So they're pretty freaking cool, huh? It is a tiny detail, but I just love how this looks. I love how they flow in between them. And it's those tiny details I think really add to the life of this base. I really want to add just more tiny little islands like that because I really like that particular aesthetic where it looks almost like shattered and cracked. I've done a couple of little ones here and there. I've got one here, one there. I've got one down here. I think think I intended this to be some kind of pathway, maybe to this tower here, or maybe even up to the entranceway there. So I might carry this on at some point as well. But the big question is, do they work? Yes, they do. This is the intention, so I can get to the nether portal without having to burn my feet off. No, without having to use my elytra. Yeah, I love that transition there in between the grass, and then you slowly get to the nether stuff. Beautiful. Now I'll go ahead and do these. We're gonna have a more subtle transition here. It's all going to be grass, but it's going to go from the moss mixed with the stone and these dirt blocks here, and it's gonna transition to the grass and stone that's in this island. And the actual foliage on the top is going to transition from the more pinky cherry blossom stuff to the more alien stuff we have over there. Nearer the cherry grove, I'll put some of these lily of the valleys, as well as some of these azalea leaves dotted around here. As we get closer to the sniffer island, I will add some of the sniffer related plants, as well as some of the warped roots, which look quite alien. At this point I'm adding a lot more stone blocks into the bottom, as well as even dotting in some of the glow lichen to act as a transition between the grey of the stone blocks and the browns of the dirt blocks. Then the next few islands had pretty much the exact same process as the previous one. Again, pretty cool. I love how these look. They are tiny and very easy to build. I love how much they add to the base. Now you may have noticed in the little montage there that this doesn't go all the way, and that's because I want to add a little bridge jutting out of the end there. I think I might need to add a couple more islands to bridge that gap. So that's what we'll do next. First though, let's go see if the sniffers have dug anything up for us. Yes, the pitcher pod. Ah yes, some of the torchflower seeds as well. What I've been doing is trying to keep these fields full out here so I can break one and just replace it with the seed. I'm not going to break any and leave them empty, I'm just going to collect them when I have the new seeds. And what I can now do is dot these around as I get them on these new islands here. Also, before we build the bridge, I totally realised I forgot to add the pink petals to these islands. There we go, I kind of love that. As we go on here, we get less and less cherry petals, and then we go into more of the alien stuff. Ah, I do love that. So the centre of the bridge will be right here. And it started raining, because of course it has. Just a little, like, platform almost. It's not really a bridge, because it's not going across a gap. It's, like, just a little platform sticking out, basically. And I'm going for this red vibe here to match the colours of the build on this island. And I have these red nether brick walls here, which is a block I rarely use, actually. A very cool technique you can do to connect walls and fences is use fence gates, because the walls don't actually connect to the fences, they leave a little gap there. But if you have fence gates, they do connect, and they have quite a nice shape to them. I like doing that. And now I'll just stick a couple of supports in. And then I'll fill the gap here with some fences. So now I think I need probably 2 more islands to just bridge this gap here. There we go, they're in. Which now creates a pathway from the sniffer island here all the way to the cherry blossom island over here. That is very nice, I think. It makes everything feel a little bit more connected. I definitely want to do more of this in future videos. I did breed some sniffers earlier and put the eggs down, so in theory I should have... Hey, at least I have one? Is there another one in here? Maybe that one despawned or something. That's a bit sad, but... As you can see, I've got some torch flowers and one of the pitcher pods on there. Should I add another pitcher pod? I don't want to make it too busy, but also I think another one would be quite good here. Let's add one in here. And maybe take out the warped roots just to balance it out a bit. To end off this video, I want to do something a little bit funny, which is going to require TNT. I have installed a data pack on my world that allows me to get the heads of mobs, but I can also get my own player head. And I want to experiment a little bit with what I can do with that. So in order to get my own player head, I need to kill myself, basically. I'm going to need obsidian, probably, and also some water. I want to test out this idea first on this island over here, and maybe in some other video I can make it into a proper machine on one of the islands. So the idea is, in order to not cause any damage to the stuff around, we'll have some water in there surrounded by obsidian so that contains the explosion that's going to happen. So basically, you'll get in, place a TNT on top of yourself, and then it will explode you. In an actual, like, proper machine for this, I could probably have it so I have a hopper underneath that collects all the heads. For now, I think this will probably do. Let's see if this works, shall we? This shouldn't blow any of my stuff up. Famous last words. Okay, I was blown up by me. Now, it's a moment of truth. Is my own head there? Has the data pack worked? Or have I just killed myself for no reason? I do have my own head. That is brilliant. This head itself is not too useful. I mean, I can place myself somewhere. That's kind of cool. Also, if I wear it, my head gets bigger. That's actually quite funny. I found some skins online that I think would be quite funny to have the little heads of. I'll quickly use this chamber a couple of times and I'll show you the results. I just thought that was pretty funny. When I found this head data pack, I was kind of wondering what I could do with it, and Carocks came to my mind straight away. I love the Carocks from Zelda. Yeah, I found a couple of skins that had some Carocks as the head, so I wanted to try and hide some around the world. One up here could be quite funny. I got this orange one in particular to hide it in the pumpkin patch here. I think they're quite cute. I just got one of each for now, but I'll definitely get more. Inside the log here. There he is. How about on the original moss farm island here? On top of the rock maybe. Yahaha! It's kind of stupid, but I like this. If I ever do world downloads, I might not even show where they are. You can come in the world and try and find them yourself. I swear I always get wandering traders on this roof in particular. Oh, he's got nautilus shells. Very useful. He also had a mini cartography table, which would be a very good detail block. I mean, gunpowder's useful too. This is how my collection of mini blocks is looking now. I have quite a lot, and including my own head now. So I think the progress we've made today is quite good, quite substantial actually. We've added all of these strings of islands in here, which I personally love. Definitely going to be doing more of this. I started off with a storage system here, which I will definitely be getting more of the blocks into. And I've gone and hid a bunch of Carocks around, which is quite funny. Next time, I want to get some very basic farms in. Farms that I really should have had sooner, like a sugarcane farm, a bamboo farm, and maybe even a cactus farm. So I think that's what we'll start off next video with. I've already got some designs in mind, so I hope you'll tune in for that next time. I will see you then.